COVID-19 in our lead stories. Nationally, all is not well with the Federation's Citizenship by Investment program, so says former government minister, and a new head of prison services here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Regionally, Barbados records its third homicide for 2019. Internationally, Labour leader in Britain targets zombie government after defeat of Brexit legislation. German Chancellor warns limited damage. And in sports, Brooklyn Nets Russell scores 34 and sends Celtics to third straight loss. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. While the government is touting the strength and the importance of the Citizenship by Investment (CBI) program, there are concerns the program is not being adequately policed, resulting in the loss of revenue and a fall in the real estate market. Two options in the program are the real estate option, which requires the applicant to invest $400,000, or two applicants $200,000 each, while the other option is to the Sustainable Growth Fund with a contribution of between $150,000 and $195,000. Former Government Minister G.A. Dwyer Astephen says these options are being exploited.
What some developers and international agents have been doing is actually cheating the system by getting people through the real estate option. So you said, okay, we're going to buy unit number 1 from Libud Development, which is an approved development, and the agreement for sale and purchase has $400,000 in it. And that agreement goes to the Citizenship by Investment unit. And hitherto, they have not been particularly vigilant and proactive in policing to ensure that all of the funds are indeed going where they're supposed to be going, so that far less than the $400,000 is going to bricks and mortar and actual construction, which means that instead of getting 5-star residential and resort development projects in the islands, you're getting a far inferior product, if you get anything at all.
Mr. Astephen also spoke of the current situation as it relates to construction under the real estate option.
Less than 10% of them are actually active in terms of the construction proceeding, and you being able to say, well, I see the light at the end of the tunnel here. I can see this thing opening in 6-9 months. Some of them have been going on longer, started before the Park Hyatt began, and the Park Hyatt has been open for over a year now, and they're still not finished. That's a sign of bad planning, bad something. And the government, the authorities have not been, as I said, proactive and vigilant.
Former Government Minister G.A. Dwyer Astephen. In his 2019 budget address, Prime Minister Harris revealed that in 2018, the CBI contributed $159.5 million to St. Kitts and Nevis, a 20% increase from 2017. Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for the Operations Directorate, Mr. Terence James, has accepted the offer to become the new head of prison services in St. Kitts and Nevis. That was one of the major announcements made by Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris, during his monthly press conference held at the Parliamentary Lounge earlier today, Wednesday, January 16, 2019. Prime Minister Harris stated that the elevation of the ACP James falls in line with the new management structure being pursued for the prison services in the Federation, which includes the creation of the new post of Commissioner of Corrections. Dr. Harris noted that the Commissioner of Corrections will be afforded the salary and privileges benefiting the post of a commissioner. He said that the restructuring of the prison services in the Federation includes the building of a new prison facility with better spatial provisions for juveniles, for persons on remand, a halfway house and specific facilities for rehabilitation and programs for reintegration into society. The new prison facility will also accommodate on-site health and social services. The Alexandra Hospital, Nevis' lone hospital, will see an increase in the number of ambulances. That's according to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health on Nevis, Mrs. Nicole Slack-Liburd.
We do have 4 ambulances already as it is, but we are actually even ahead of this diagnostic wing or expansion. I would say Alexandra Hospital Phase 2. We should see the purchase of an ambulance before that. So just to strengthen the type of vehicles that we have some, but we know that we can always do with more that are a newer model.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health, in its efforts to bolster health care, has also considered having a polyclinic where ambulances can be located at designated health centers to alleviate the distance and enable persons to receive timely medical assistance.
And one of the plans that we have is to establish what we call a polyclinic at Gingerland. That's one of the areas that have identified this far. So it's a health center with extended hours that would be able to keep a patient overnight, for example, and have a doctor there at all times, and also have an area for an ambulance. So that's one of the discussions that is in at this point. And we do have a pretty good response time.
The Ministry of Health here on Nevis, Mrs. Nicole Slack-Liburd. The Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College CFBC nursing students were among 49 participants who benefited from a preceptorship training workshop conducted by the University of the West Indies School of Nursing Unison. A preceptorship is an elective mentored experience in which a practicing physician volunteers to give personal instruction, training, and supervision to a medical student during the first year or through the first term of the second year of medical school. The aim of the January 8th to 15th activity was to prepare clinical preceptors who are registered nurse clinicians with an opportunity to enhance practice skills in leadership, communication, teaching, evaluation, mentoring, nursing law, and ethics. Training course participants gained new knowledge to promote student nurses' clinical learning experience as they transition into their professional responsibilities. The training course was facilitated by BSN Program Coordinator Melissa Walker, Unison Lecturer Joyette Aiken, with presentations from 2 participants, Dr. Rondalyn Dennis Bradshaw, Dean of Health Science Division, and Adjunct Lecturer, Health Science Division at CFBC, Marshallette Smith Anthony. Participants received certificates at the end of the training session. A 2-story house in Boardrock, St. Kitts, was damaged by fire after an apparent robbery. Reports said the incident occurred on Monday, sometime after 11 a.m. on Robin Street. Luckily, no one was home when the fire started. Unconfirmed reports suggest that the house had been burglarized and the fire may have been set intentionally. The fire was extinguished and there were signs of a break-in and electronic items were missing. The VON Newsline will provide more on this story as it develops. The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC in St. Kitts, has become more strict regarding the illegal garbage disposal in Independence Square. Illegal dumping is discarding waste in an improper or illegal manner where it does not belong and or where environmental damage is likely. Consequently, according to officials, anyone found dumping illegally could be fined up to 20,000 EC dollars. However, persons are still dumping in key areas of Barstair. Therefore, by implementing a shift schedule for litter wardens, it is the corporation's hope that this initiative will assist in keeping the town clean. And finally, police have made no arrests in the shooting incident which occurred in Sandy Point, St. Kitts on Wednesday morning, January 9th. Circumstances surrounding the incident are that an unknown assailant or assailants attempted to shoot a bus driver who remains unnamed. Based on confirmed reports, the driver was not in the bus nor was he close by at the time when the assailants opened fire. Police also confirmed the incident and stated that no one was injured during the incident. Police say they are continuing to investigate the matter. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and or Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
as well as your business needs, and we're here to help. Our knowledgeable staff will work with you to help you achieve the financial success that you or your company needs in a competitive market. We offer solutions that make your banking experience easier, like our savings and checking accounts. Be sure to ask about our youth savers accounts and our Bank of Nevis Gold Club. We offer a wide range of personal loans, including mortgage, land, student, auto, and consumer loans. Have access to your funds instantly with our BeOnline internet banking and our debit and credit cards. We make international banking and investing easy. How's your business? Give it the leverage it really needs by letting the Bank of Nevis assist you with all the necessary funding for all your business expenses. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Bank of Nevis.
Welcome back, and all the regional news in detail. Out of Barbados. An early morning shooting between Monday 14th and Tuesday 15th January has left a 42-year-old St. Michael man dead. The deceased has been identified as Daryl Harris of Barbaries Garden. He was shot at his home. Harris was also reportedly shot in December 2018 while in New Orleans, St. Michael. At the time, he had sustained gunshot injuries to both his legs and was transported to the QEH by private vehicle. Barbados recorded its first and second two murders for the year on Tuesday, January 8th and on Friday, January 11th. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has said that work is moving very fast on the construction of the new state-of-the-art National Hospital, which is being constructed by the government of China. The project is estimated to cost $40 million US. Construction work began on the China-funded hospital in October 2016, following the groundbreaking in August of the same year. However, work was halted following the destruction caused by Hurricane Maria on September 18, 2017. Skerrit was quoted as saying, "Work is moving very fast. The Chinese contracting firm has really increased their pace." According to him, the first phase will be handed over to Dominica by April 2019. The Jamaican passport is currently ranked 61st on the Henley and Partners Passport Index, which measures the power of passports based on the amount of destinations passport holders can visit without a prior visa. The ranking uses data exclusively from the International Air Transport Association, which provides the largest and most accurate database of travel information in the world. This data is complemented by the continuing comprehensive research of the Henley and Partners Research Department. There are currently 104 places in the index, with Japan owning first place and Singapore and South Korea in second. A number of Jamaica's neighbors in the Caribbean and Latin American region are ranked favorably by the index. They include Antigua and Barbuda in 28th, St. Lucia in 31st, and Grenada in 33rd. These Caribbean countries are noteworthy because they offer citizenship by investment programs. The Grenada government is moving ahead with plans to increase the pension for public officers to 70%. This was disclosed on Tuesday by Minister for Trade and Industry Oliver Joseph, who is also chairman of government's Pension Engagement Committee. At the weekly Post Cabinet press briefing, Minister Joseph said government and the trade unions and staff associations representing public officers reached agreement on this, and it is included in the Memorandum of Understanding MOU between the parties. Minister Joseph explained that this is essentially a top of the pension paid by the National Insurance Scheme, which ranges generally from 30% to 58%, but can reach a maximum of 60%. The government pension will be payable at age 60 to persons who meet the qualifying criteria. According to Joseph, government will ensure that no worker goes home with anything less than 70% of their last salary. And finally, out of Barbuda. The Barbuda People's Movement, BPM, and the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, ABLP, arm on the sister island, Antigua, are yet to make a determination as to the potential candidates who will represent the interest of both parties in the upcoming council elections in March. Chairman of the Barbados Council and BPM member, Wade Burton, stated that the party has issued letters inviting its members to indicate their interests. Both the ABLP and the BPM will each be seeking to fill 2 seats which are now vacant. The Barbuda Council is an 11-member body consisting of 9 directly elected and 2 ex officio, a parliamentary representative and a senator, who serve 4-year terms. Elections are held every 2 years in March to replace people who have completed their full term. The BPM took control of the council in 2017 after winning the majority of the seats. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has called Theresa May's administration a zombie government that cannot govern, as he called for a general election. Opening a debate on a no-confidence motion, Mr. Corbyn said the government should do the right thing and resign after Tuesday night's record-breaking defeat on its Brexit legislation. The Prime Minister said an election was simply not in the national interest. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said it is up to Britain to outline its next steps over Brexit, following the British Parliament's overwhelming rejection of the draft deal on leaving the European Union (EU). She said Europe wanted to limit the damage over Brexit as much as possible, and there was still time to negotiate.
We want to keep the damage, and the exit of Britain will be damaging, to a minimum. So we will, of course, continue to try to find a solution for an orderly Brexit. But we are also prepared for the eventuality that there will not be an orderly solution. So we will hold consultations tomorrow in Parliament, which would come into force if no agreement on Brexit is reached with Britain.
YouTube clips that depict dangerous or emotionally distressing pranks have been banned from the platform. The move comes in response to so-called challenges that have sometimes resulted in death or injury. The Google-owned video sharing site said such material had no place on YouTube. However, the firm appears to be failing to enforce its existing rules on harmful content. Reports say videos were still appearing on the site despite a pledge last April to remove the material. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has said a siege by suspected militants in Nairobi is over and all the attackers have been eliminated. Gunmen attacked the compound in the Westlands district of Kenya's capital on Tuesday, killing at least 14 people. Officials originally announced the end of the siege hours after it began, but gunfire and explosions were heard again early on Wednesday. Here is more in this report.
Right now, security teams are pulling out of the complex, and also the rescue teams are also pulling out of the complex. We've had the wrecker squad, the anti-bomb squad all coming out. The ministers for security and persons who are in charge of the operation that was just concluded have all come out and said phase one of the operation is now completed, and they are looking at now sweeping the area and looking for evidence and now pursuing the criminal aspect of the process.
And finally, police in Zimbabwe have arrested a prominent activist, Pastor Evan Mawariwe, as protests against soaring fuel prices enter their third day. Mr. Mawariwe was taken from his home and charged with inciting violence. Offices and businesses remained closed on Wednesday, and the streets of the capital, Harare, were largely deserted. More in this report.
Pastor Evan Mawarire was taken from his home in the capital, Harare. Violence returned to the country earlier this week after its president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, announced a decision to more than double fuel prices. It's the final day of the stay-at-home protests, and people are scrambling for supplies in the country as businesses remain shut. Meanwhile, police fired tear gas to disperse crowds queuing for bread in the capital.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, D'Angelo Russell scored 18 of his 34 points in the third quarter, and the Brooklyn Nets ended a 10-game losing streak to Boston with a 109-102 victory on Monday night, sending the Celtics to a winless 3-game road trip. With Kyrie Irving nursing a bruised right quadriceps, the Nets blew open the game with a 15-0 run in the third quarter and outscored the Celtics 44-21 in the period. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis had 46 points and 16 rebounds. Julius Randle added 27 points, and the New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Los Angeles Clippers 121-117 on Monday night for just their second road win this season against a Western Conference team. Elsewhere, Donovan Mitchell scored 28 points, and Rudy Gobert tied a career high with 25 rebounds to propel the Utah Jazz past the Detroit Pistons 100-94 on Monday night. Utah has won 5 straight against the Pistons and 22 of 26. And Kemba Walker scored 33 points, and Tony Parker enjoyed a triumphant return to San Antonio as the Charlotte Hornets beat the Spurs 108-93 on Monday night, snapping their 7th-game home winning streak. In cricket, West Indies CWI selection panel announced the West Indies squad to face England in the first test match of the Wisden Trophy series. The selectors have named an exciting squad balancing players who have performed strongly in recent tests with players who have been recalled or called up for the first time due to recent performances. The squad reads: Jason Holder, captain; Craig Brathwaite, Darren Bravo, Shamar Brooks, John Campbell, Boston Chase, Shane Dorich, Shannon Gabriel, Shimon Hetmeyer, Shea Hope, Azari Joseph, Kimar Roach, and Jamel Warrican. O'Shane Thomas has been called up as cover for Azari Joseph. In football, Fulham has signed former Liverpool winger Ryan Babel from Turkish side Beşiktaş. The 32-year-old Dutch international, who spent 3.5 years at Anfield, has joined the club until the end of the season. Fulham is 19th in the Premier League and 5 points from safety. Fulham Vice Chairman Tony Khan added, "We welcome that experience as we build our squad for a strong second-half push." He has won 54 caps for the Netherlands, scoring 8 goals, the most recent of which came against France in the Nations League in September. Meantime, still in football, the lawyer of Catherine Mayorga, who has accused Cristiano Ronaldo of raping her in 2009, will travel to London to meet a woman who claims to be the Juventus forward's ex-girlfriend. Leslie Stovall says he has spoken to British model and reality TV star Jasmine Leonard, who says she dated Ronaldo 10 years ago and has offered to assist Mayorga's case against the Portugal captain. Ronaldo, 33, denies American Mayorga's claims, and his legal team say he has no recollection of meeting Leonard. Leonard appeared on Celebrity Big Brother, and early in January, the 33-year-old targeted Ronaldo with several social media posts, but has since deleted her Twitter account. And finally, in tennis, Andy Murray can still return to professional tennis even if he has another hip operation, says American doubles legend Bob Bryan. Brian, 40, had a hip resurfacing procedure last summer and is back playing at the Australian Open. Two-time Wimbledon champion Murray, 33, has said he might have to quit if he has the same surgery. He said he personally thinks he can come back. Brian, a 23-time Grand Slam doubles champion, played alongside brother Mike at the Australian Open on Wednesday, little over 5 months since undergoing his operation. Murray is back home in Britain after a gusty 5-set defeat by Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut, and says he will probably make a decision next week on whether to go for surgery. That's it for sports. General weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and all the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Weather tomorrow will be partly sunny with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Winds are easterly at 9 to 22 kilometers per hour or 5 to 12 knots. Seas are 1.2 meters or 4 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:44 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the Mid News package for today, Wednesday, 16th January 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, all is not well with the Federation's Citizenship by Investment program, so says former government minister, and new head of prison services here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Regionally, Barbados records its 3rd homicide for 2019. Internationally, Labour leader in Britain targets zombie government after defeat on Brexit legislation. German Chancellor wants limited damage. And in sports, Brooklyn Nets Russell scores 34 and sends Celtics to 3rd straight loss. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.